I apologize in advance for the style of video today, but I've been sick the past couple of days, and I am still sick today, so I apologize ahead, and as soon as I'm feeling better, I will return to the regular format. But now, on to the story. U.S. President Donald Trump has basically confirmed today that he is going to leave an arms control treaty that had been signed with the Soviet Union and has been in effect since the 1980s. Now, we're referring to the 1987 Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, which banned a lot of the ground-launched nuclear missiles with ranges from 500 kilometers to 5,500 kilometers. Now, this is one of the landmark peace deals that was signed between Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev. Yeah, Ronald Reagan's not really someone you think of in terms of peace, but at least you can give him credit for this one. Essentially, the U.S. is now complaining that Russia and China are not living up to their end of whatever agreements to not build new nuclear weapons that... Or rather, I don't know, because the United States is not being very specific on what its allegations against China and Russia actually are. But essentially, TLDR, they're saying that everybody else is building new nuclear weapons, so they should as well. And of course, in true American government style, there's absolutely no evidence of this whatsoever. So the United States has once again decided to just unilaterally withdraw from an agreement that everybody was going with that was effective to some degree or another. I'm not really sure exactly how great it actually was. But essentially, this is the place that we find ourselves in now. So once again, the United States has bemoaned other people for allegedly violating treaties like Iran, alleging that Iran has created nuclear weapons when they actually didn't, and were not able to provide a single shred of evidence that they had, which was, of course, referring to the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, which was designed to keep nuclear weapons out of Iran's hands. And, of course, the other thing they presented was a bunch of complete garbage that was cooked up by Israel, most of which the International Atomic Energy Agency, whose job it is to monitor these things, has decided and reviewed and said it was stuff that they already knew about. It was stuff that was out of date or completely fabricated. So what we have here is, once again, the United States not living up to agreements that it repeatedly demands that other people live up to. So let me get this straight. So we've got another one of those situations where other people are not allowed to have nuclear weapons, but the United States is. And allowed to expand their nuclear capabilities beyond their promises not to. I mean, taking the United States at their word is pretty much a fool's game at this point. Anyway, not that it was before, but at least you had the veneer that the United States might at least be honest to some degree. But now, this is exactly where we're at. On Friday, Trump's third national security advisor, John Bolton, the guy with the mustache who feels that we have to kill everything, he's been a long-standing opponent of these kinds of arms control treaties, and has been pushing for the U.S. to leave, and it seems like he's gotten in Trump's ear enough to get it done this time. He wants to develop and deploy new cruise missiles for the sake of attacking other people because, frankly, the guy is a warmonger and psychopath. So, which means a lot of all the effort that's been put forward to try to eliminate much of the nuclear arsenal in the world since the invention of the nuclear weapon has now been all for naught because of the United States. The world we now live in is more dangerous because of the United States. The world is now less stable diplomatically because of the United States. It seems like these guys seem to be the center of every goddamn problem that's taken place in the past 10 or 15 years or so, or maybe since they've ever existed, depending on what stance it is that you want to actually take. So, essentially, the United States is pissed off that their hands are tied from creating any new nuclear weapons. In other words, they're mad that they can't arms race other people. I mean, that's essentially what it is. I mean, how much nuclear power do you actually have to have? Once you have the capability of destroying the entire world 14 times over, do you really need any more than that? I mean, I think once you have the power to destroy the entire world once, you've pretty much got all that you need to make a point. I mean, beyond that, you're just wasting time and money. And wasting money on military, something the United States is very good at. So, Essentially, what we have is the United States not living up to its nuclear agreements while claiming that Iran isn't living up to it. And while the DPRK is saying that they need to build nuclear weapons because of the threat posed by the United States. So let me get this straight. Everybody else has to follow the nuclear rules, except them. And Israel, of course. Of course, Israel as well. They don't have to follow the rules either. They can just develop weapons and not have any international oversight, even though everybody else has to. Because they're so goddamn special. You know, God's chosen people and all. So then you wonder why the DPRK is acting so aggressively by wanting nuclear weapons. Well, frankly, it's to defend themselves from the people who can't even live up to their own agreements in the United States. In Iran, God bless their heart, because you know I love them, for some reason still seem to want to hold on to this JPCOA agreement and not build nukes. Well, if I was Iran, I certainly would be going ahead and doing it anyway and saying, you know what, to hell with the agreement. It's already failed. The United States essentially doesn't want it, so we're going to go ahead and build nukes to defend ourselves from being attacked by the United States, seeing as how, you know, they keep doing that. They keep invading other countries and murdering off their population to get a hold of their resources, their labor supply, access to their markets, and etc. So, you know, here we go. The United States once again proven that it's not, their word isn't worth anything at all. Any treaty signed by the United States is simply dismissed and thrown into the garbage as much as any other one is. And that's where we are now. So hopefully other countries won't take this as an opportunity to start another arms race. And of course I'm referring to China and Russia, who, you know, are going to have to do it. If the United States are going to push an arms race, then they're going to have to respond in kind. And what's really infuriating about this is that none of it had to happen. There was already an agreement in place that would stop another nuclear arms race. But now, thanks to the United States, we are now faced with another one. Thanks to, once again, the goddamn Yanks.
Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.